From the Convergence Studio in the School of Communication, this is Loyola News Chicago.
Hello, and welcome to this special edition of Loyola News Chicago. I'm Katrina Lim. Today we're looking at issues regarding education, including how the state budget has impacted students. Chicago State University recently wrapped up the school year after a semester of financial troubles. Grace Runkle shows us how the state budget impasse has impacted students at the Southside University.
For students at Chicago State University, the past few months have not been easy. First, the school cut spring break and moved up the last day of classes. Then, it sent layoff notices to the professors, all in an effort to keep Chicago State from shutting down.
This semester has been very challenging.
Very interesting.
Stressful, actually, to be honest.
Chicago State, a public university on the South Side, has been in the midst of a financial crisis since Illinois failed to pass a budget last July. About 30% of the school's funding comes from the state. Without that money, Chicago State is uncertain whether or not it can stay open, leaving the students with many unanswered questions.
No one really knows what's going on or like where we're at. Like you ask a teacher, you ask a student, you ask an advisor or anyone, they just be like, oh, register for your classes next semester. Like we're still open, like as if nothing's going on with a budget or anything.
The school now relies solely on students' tuition to fill the budget, but many students, like Montgomery, say they are transferring to a more financially stable school. Still, others are more optimistic. Darren Martin has spent the semester rallying students and campaigning in Springfield. Come registration time, Martin will be re-enrolling at Chicago State for the fall semester.
The essence of it takes a village to raise a child. Well, Chicago State is our child. It's in the backyard of the South Side of Chicago. If we wanted to keep it here, we as students have to come back in droves, show up, stand out.
But Mercedes Smith says Chicago State is more than just a campus for students. The school keeps its library and recreation center open to the public. Smith says taking away those opportunities would force people who are trying to better their lives back onto the street.
I hope it don't shut down because it's a lot of people here and it's part of the community too. So, I don't know, I just hope the best for Chicago State.
Grace Runkle, Loyola News Chicago.
State legislators gave Chicago State some hope on April 22nd by passing a $600 million spending bill for public universities. $20 million of it will go to Chicago State, but administrators say while they appreciate the bill, it's still not enough. State budget concerns are impacting students even before they get to college. Picking the right school is already an anxious process, but Patrick Judge reports it's been particularly stressful as inaction in Springfield leaves Illinois higher education underfunded.
After a full day of work and classes, a couple dozen high school seniors gather in a conference room in downtown Chicago. With graduation mere weeks away, they have their dreams and visions set on future plans.
Ever since I was a kid, I always wanted my own business.
First, I want to start out doing a pizza place.
I want to do finance and business management.
But first, they need to pick a college. At the Chicago chapter of Genesys Works, a national nonprofit, mentors work with low-income high school students to help square the students' dreams with an achievable reality. But the reality of college drifts further out of reach for some, as a 10-month budget impasse in Illinois leaves colleges underfunded. Genesys staff say this leaves some prospective students unable to afford school.
It definitely kills the excitement when you start to think about just how many people this will affect if they don't pass this budget.
Illinois residents with demonstrated financial need, many of those at Uribe College, for example, are eligible to receive up to $4,700 each year from the state. This comes from the Monetary Award Program. They're called MAP grants for short. But this year, students can't count on those grants.
That money is essential for them to go to college. Without that funding, some of them can't even qualify for enough loans to take out to go to school.
Uncertain of state support, some students choose to compromise. Because of the financial strain, Victor Fuentes chose to attend a community college over a 4-year university where he was accepted.
It was a bit disappointing. My family as well, they were a bit shocked and aggravated
as to why they wouldn't allow me to attend UIC because of the MAP grant.
Others pursue their top choice, but with money ever on the mind. Kayla Thompson recounted a frustrated conversation she had with a counselor about choosing schools.
Everything was based on money, money, money. And I was telling him, like, what if I get a full ride to a school and I don't enjoy it? But at the end of the day, you got to think about the money all the time.
The future for some may start closer to home than dreamed, though better at least than not at all. Of the students gathered that night, more than 2/3 choose to stay in Chicago, where there's no extra room and board. Patrick Judge, Loyola News, Chicago.
The University of Illinois has promised to dip into its own reserves to cover MAP grants if the budget remains unresolved. Unfortunately, many other schools cannot afford to do the same. Usually students are doing homework at night, but some may be going to class at that time. According to the Daily Herald, St. Charles District is introducing a pilot program that will offer night classes. The classes are directed towards students who face the possibility of not finishing high school on time. The program will provide subjects such as English, algebra, and geometry. Balancing education and tuition costs is a difficult task for many families, even with financial aid and support. But Michaela McGinley reports on students who are pursuing higher education with no financial help due to their citizenship status.
Manuel Gomez and Elizabeth Morales are freshmen at Loyola University, Chicago. As children of parents who entered the United States without proper citizenship, they are considered to be undocumented immigrants. As undocumented students, Gomez and Morales have faced many obstacles getting to college.
You know, I had people telling me it doesn't matter how well you do in school, it doesn't matter what kind of grades you get. You're not going to be able to be a doctor, engineer, etc. Or you might not even be able to get to college because you're a quote-unquote an illegal immigrant.
Being first generation, my parents don't really know a lot about college. So it just feels like I'm on my own trying to figure out the way to go through college appropriately. But there are the resources that there are here, but I feel a little bit left out in that aspect where my parents cannot help me out one-on-one.
Joe Saucedo from Loyola's Student Diversity and Multicultural Affairs Group spoke to the possible financial challenges undocumented students face.
A lot of our students who are undocumented, it's not uncommon to hear some of these students share that the first time they found out that they were undocumented, that they had this status, is when they were filling out the FAFSA form and needed to have a social security number. And so because of the social, that makes undocumented immigrants ineligible for federal financial aid.
Loyola offers undocumented students with the chance to receive large scholarships to help with their payment. Both Gomez and Morales have found support through resources at Loyola, such as student diversity groups, and have learned to embrace their statuses.
Just because you're undocumented doesn't mean you have to fear anything.
Loyola is one of the many schools that have signed the DREAM Act statement, which is in favor of allowing undocumented students the chance to receive federal financial aid. Michaela McGinley, Loyola News, Chicago.
Loyola's diversity group offers training days each semester for people who want to learn more about issues surrounding undocumented students. Coming up on Loyola News Chicago, did you know you can get a degree in Chicago and Spain at the same time? And how Loyola students are creating their own jobs rather than finding one. More on that when we come back.
There are so many fun things we all can do to be healthier, no matter who you are or where you are. So let's move.
Oh, here we go.
Let's stretch in the grass.
What a play.
Let's play tag.
Wow, unbelievable.
Let's jump up and down.
Oh, what a way to finish it.
And most of all, let's eat better so that we have the energy we need to play an hour a day, every day.
Everyone can play. Just go to letsmove.gov to learn more.
Loyola has participated in a new program this year with the Jesuit University in Spain. After spending the school year in Chicago, students from Loyola Andalusia are heading home this month. We have 2 reports on the program from Spanish students who have worked with us on Loyola News Chicago. In the first story, Jose Garcia reports on how the experience of studying in Chicago has been for our Spanish visitors.
Imagine coming home to study from a small city in Spain to the third largest city in the United States. That's exactly what a group of Spanish students have done this year. Germán Muñoz has spent the year studying business administration in Chicago. He comes from Seville, the capital city of Andalusia, in the south of Spain. Chicago was not his first option, but he doesn't regret of his choice.
Originally, I wanted to go to San Francisco, but Chicago is a great place to be, and I've discovered here that this is a beautiful city which has a lot to offer, and is located in a great place in the Midwest.
Suraj Sakhrani is another Spanish student which is majoring in advertising and public relations. He comes from Córdoba, which is an hour far from Seville. He didn't lose any time taking advantage of the opportunities in Chicago and at Loyola.
Well, my experience in Chicago was quite good. I enjoyed the campus, I enjoyed the activities I've done, some like football, basketball, tennis.
Suraj and Germán comes from Loyola Andalusia, a Jesuit university. They are the first students from his university that have come to Chicago to study.
Both of them agreed that the worst part of their experience was the weather in Chicago, but both of them are going to miss being here.
Germán found a job in a local digital marketing company and he has met a lot of people. He's going back home in a week, but he's pretty sure that his future is not there.
I leave people here that has meant a lot for me and a lot of opportunities that I want to develop in the future. So kind of excited for coming back and seeing all my relatives and my loved ones, but can't wait for it and can see the moment to be back again in Chicago.
Germán and Suraj are leaving Chicago in a few days, but they have lived one of the most important experiences in their lives. Even though they are not going to miss the weather of the windy city, both of them agreed that this time has been unforgettable. Jose Garcia, Loyola News, Chicago.
Many of the Spanish students studied in a new double business degree program linking the two universities. Javier Llorente has more on that part of the story.
There are many types of international students, but this year Loyola has received the higher number of Spaniards. These students are enrolled in the double business degree, a program offered between Quinlan Business School and Loyola Andalusia University, their home college in Spain. Susan Ries is the assistant dean for the Quinlan Business School. She is the advisor for all the students enrolled in this program.
Students in this program will have a very good, broad understanding of business in the United States and business in Europe. So I think the best opportunities will come with two separate degrees from two separate business schools.
The program is a full career experience that each university offers to their own freshmen. The students who enroll studied 2 semesters in Chicago and 1 in the Rome Felice Center. Leo is one of the students from Spain who has been here in Chicago since the beginning of the fall semester.
Well, my experience in the double degree has been really enriching for me. I have been lucky enough to meet so many great people.
He says that the experience is awesome, but now that the year is over and has to go back to Europe, he will miss Chicago.
I'm going to be so sad when I leave. On the other hand, I also really want to see my family because I've been so long since the last time I saw them.
Definitely, it's a very enriching opportunity, but it's also very fun. Javier Llorente, Loyola News, Chicago.
Altogether, 16 students from Spain spent this year at Loyola, studying either business or communication. More than 25 new students from Spain will be coming next year. As the school year ends, most college seniors are applying for jobs, but Alex Schmidt introduces us to some Loyola business students who are creating their own opportunities.
Not all Loyola seniors will be starting entry-level jobs after graduation. Some business students are taking steps to be their own boss. Gabe Velasquez is a senior with a minor in entrepreneurship and has been working to start a real estate business after graduation. He has already secured loans, bought land in Charlotte, North Carolina, and will be renovating and selling houses.
In real estate, one of the most important things is the market. And the market is the location. So you must be optimistic. You must be willing to change the rules.
With Quinlan's variety of entrepreneurship classes, Velasquez says he's learned practical skills for his field. However, he isn't the only business student seeking self-employment. Senior marketing student Sameen Elahi is a freelance writer and has finished her second adventure novel and is one step away from finishing her first book.
I'd also like to sell a fair decent amount of books. It's just that
That's kind of a secondary goal for me. I don't really want like huge amounts of fame and glory. I just really want to touch people, like see how they react to my writing.
Elahi said the skills she's learned as a business student have helped her properly market her work to agents and publishers. For other business students interested in making it on their own, Quinlan offers internships and even partnerships with local entrepreneurs.
Now, Loyola's business students aren't the only millennials interested in entrepreneurship. A recent study by Bentley University found that 2/3 of millennials have the future career goal of starting their own business, with only 1/3 interested in climbing the corporate ladder.
Velasquez thinks many young professionals, like himself, would rather take a risk and gain independence.
We grew up with the information age, so we get a lot of info. We all have computers now, so we know of what's possible, you know.
In the future, perhaps many other business students will pursue independent employment as well. Alex Schmidt, Loyola News, Chicago.
Forbes magazine ranked Chicago in the top 10 cities for young entrepreneurs. That's our news for today. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.